Welcome to the Lonely Writers Blog. This week I'm going to be talking about being unique um, and getting out of your comfort zone, really. When you write a story, or at least when I write a story, I tend to stick to what I know, which is typically how you write a good story. But I feel like a lot of people also write stories out of their comfort zone, things that are just crazy. Like people who really, this is, I think, a great example of it. People who write horror films, like Stephen King, I highly doubt he's had personal experience with all this crazy stories he's written about. I doubt he's, experienced alien creatures and things like that because that doesn't happen to people, at least not that I know of. But writing out of your comfort zone, I think, is a really good way to expand who you are as a person. And as far as writing, it could expand who you are in general. I don't really know how it would. It depends on what you're writing. I feel would affect how much you change as a human being. But as far as a writer, writing outside of your comfort zone is a really good thing. It's a good way to challenge yourself. And I would say more than like I'm gonna make this whole story that I'm just not familiar with. I would say start small in that regard. Like I wouldn't do like any of my stories where I really want them to be published and stuff, and I write something that's out of my comfort zone because people are already nervous enough about the things they create. Like I know I haven't let anyone see the stories I'm writing, but I'd be nervous. Like, would they like this? Would they get these jokes? Is it stupid? Like that's just a big thing when you create something. Are other people gonna like it? And I would never share something big like that, like the stories I'm writing, if it was all out of my comfort zone. But starting with small steps, I'd be okay with that, even though I would still be really conscious. I'd be more self conscious about like this little maybe 5 to 10 page thing I'm doing out of my comfort zone than I would be something that's 100 pages that I'm familiar with or that I know I like at least, and I'm not sure other people will like it. If it's out of my comfort zone, I'm not even 100% sure I like it. So it's one of those things that it does challenge you, and if you master it over time or at least get better at it, it's something you can implement into the bigger stories that you create. And you can have these little elements where you can make something that's an amalgamation of all these different ideas you have from different sorts of genres. You can make a film that is meant to be like a comedy movie, but it has its weird, creepy moments, and it works on people. It's weird and creepy when it's supposed to be weird and creepy, and then you have like an action scene or something in there randomly, and it could be out of your comfort zone, but over time you keep doing that, and you just get stronger with it, just like exercising. It's mentally writing is an exercise, just like anything else is that you do, like math or learning. It's you writing. It's still something that you learn as you continue to write because you learn not only what other people might like based off of what they tell you after you've shown it, but you can read the stuff that you've written yourself. And I'm sure a lot of you have already done that, like when you go to school and they say reread this, which I don't know who does that. I never do. But if you do, you go through and you say, okay, I was thinking this way and I typed it out just like I was thinking it, but rereading it, I see I could like flip this entire paragraph around and it could be the exact same words in a different order, and it just feels a lot better to me. And you would grow like that just as a writer because that's what naturally happens. You see what's going on through your head basically in the past, and then you say, okay, based off of my past self, so to speak, and my current self, I can make this even better than it was. So stuff like that definitely helps. Like you can come up with all sorts of unique things when you write outside of your comfort zone. Maybe not too ambitious, like I said. I would personally, if I ever decided to do this, I would start really small. Like I would do a very little video or something, or write like a tiny script or a really, really short story if it was going to be outside of my comfort zone compared to writing something that's like almost 100 pages or like even 30 pages long or really even like 20 pages long. If that's inside my comfort zone, I'm fine. But outside of it, even 20 pages to me seems like it would just be a hassle because not only would it be something I'm not familiar with, it would be one of those things where outside of your comfort zone, this random thing could be a huge struggle for you. It could be something that gives you an insane amount of writer's block because it's like it's out of my comfort zone because of this or because of that or because of all of these reasons. So I'm not 100% sure how to even create the characters within this world and how to make them act in this certain way that's outside of a comfort zone. So I wouldn't get too ambitious with it, but it is something that personally I feel is a good step for a writer. I would say start off writing how you would typically write, writing the stuff that things that inspire you. If you like games and anime and stuff like that, write things where it's like, don't steal ideas, of course, but it's like I remember this or I remember that, and I love this, and I can take the essence of that and put it into my story and make it my own thing. I could just like a superpower, like anyone could have superpowers in their stories, and you can say I really like this power, but that's the only one I like, so I'm gonna take that power and give it to my main character, and maybe no one else is superhuman, and then you have the story that you build off of, and then you have a story where you're out of your comfort zone, where it's like maybe I'll take this really dramatic moment that was in my life or something that I saw that actually hit me, even though I never personally experienced it, and I want to make a story out of that, even though it's not what I would typically do, which would be like action or comedy, and you make suddenly out of nowhere you're making something that's a dramatic story. But those types of things I think are really good for writers to do, whether it's simply written out like in story form, or if it's something that is starting off as a script but it becomes something like this, like it's an actual video. Like I don't do scripts for these, but some people do, where you vlog and it's like I want to get to these points, and they're like little scripts, not like I say this exact thing, but you try to get to certain points. But stuff like that I think is really important, of course. Thanks for checking this video out. If you have any advice that you want to give to future writers, or like anything that you can think of, whether it's related to stepping outside of your comfort zone or anything else, writer's block, anything that you can think of that would help other writers that may or may not come across this video, of course, put those down in the comments below. And thanks for watching.